families around here, it's hard for them to even afford a headstone to begin with.
It's normally a place of quiet and reflection, but police say a man took out his anger on many headstones at a cemetery, causing a lot of damage.
A mother pleads for help tonight in finding her son, who police say disappeared from Madison County nearly 4 months ago.
How a UK police officer ended up delivering a baby while he was directing traffic on campus today.
WKYT News starts now with First Alert Weather.
Good evening. We can't seem to get away from it. No break from the wet weather today at all.
More strong storms have been moving across much of Kentucky, bringing another round of heavy rain. We begin tonight with Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey. He has the very latest on all the storms.
Yeah, thunderstorms that are out there are kind of picking it up a little bit now across southeastern Kentucky, and that's where we've been all day long. You get these thunderstorms to come through, they weaken a little bit, then they kind of pulse right back up. But it is eastern Kentucky where we had a little hint of some sunshine. Now all of a sudden these thunderstorms that are rumbling into parts of Breathitt, Morgan, and Wolfe counties showing a little increase over the past 15 minutes or so. A lot of thunder and lightning now into West Liberty. That's an area we were concentrating on 24 hours ago, where you had a lot of heavy rain yesterday. Watch those creeks and streams. Jackson, Breathitt County points to the south. Harlan County got a thunderstorm on top of us. Some scattered action around London and Corbin, Lancaster, over to Harrodsburg and into the Bluegrass region. Now more of a light nuisance rainfall that is showing up. Still some lighter rains back to our southwest. That flow is from southwest to northeast, and the future hour-by-hour radar will continue to pick up on some showers over the next few hours. Notice a drying trend trying to set in as we go through the evening, but look toward the southwestern sky by 6 tomorrow morning. That's another round of some showers and thunderstorms that will target parts of the area. And when I come back in a little more than 10 minutes, we will show you why tomorrow and Friday still will feature some rounds of showers and storms.
Chris, thank you. What started as an argument, police say ended with a drunken rampage at a Jackson County cemetery. They say a man damaged or destroyed at least 10 headstones there.
Police say 35-year-old Charles Fowler had an argument with his father last night, then got drunk and took his anger out at the cemetery where some of his relatives are buried. Phil Pendleton's tracking the investigation in our top story at 6.
Police say after he left his father's house where the two had an argument, Charles Fowler went to the Russell Flat Cemetery, where his mother and several other relatives are buried. For reasons police are still trying to figure out, they say that he took a hammer to several headstones.
I'm just kind of shocked because of it.
Word spread quickly of the incident at the cemetery in Sand Springs, and many showed up to clean up the flowers and broken decorations. Some say Fowler didn't mean any harm, and even the cemetery caretaker said he didn't agree with the felony charges. He said Fowler was simply upset over his mother's passing, but police say his mother's gravesite was among those damaged.
It's bad for the families, and I'm sure they're hurt, and I'm sure that they're angry over it.
Many didn't want to talk on camera. Many said they don't understand what happened with Fowler, saying he's never done anything like this and never been in trouble before. Still, the damage was done.
If we don't respect each other's loved ones, then we're in a bad situation already. So
Charles Fowler remains in jail where he is facing several charges. He declined to give us his side of the story in a jailhouse interview. In Jackson County, Phil Pendleton, WKYT.
Police say a nearby 911 center received multiple complaints of the vandalism as it was taking place last night. New tonight, Estill County High School sent letters home to parents after school leaders say they found something that claimed to be a hit list. The Estill County superintendent says the list was found inside a textbook in a classroom this morning. School leaders say they have talked to parents of students who were named on the list, and they say they've figured out where the list came from. School leaders claim students were never in any danger.
A Fayette County jury didn't deliberate very long before convicting a man accused of killing his girlfriend. This afternoon, the jury found Parrish Charles guilty of murder and abuse of a corpse. Police say he killed Goldia Massey at a Lexington home in 2014. Victor Puente has the latest from the Fayette County Courthouse.
It took this jury about 2.5 hours to find Parrish Charles guilty of murder and abuse of a corpse. Parrish Charles was arrested a few weeks after Goldia Massey's arm and torso were found in two separate places along the Kentucky River in 2014. His defense team told jurors the carpet he had ripped out of his home and the cell phone records that showed him near the river were only coincidences. They tried to suggest that Massey's son knew more than he was telling police.
It started with Zach Massey. It is undisputed that Zach Massey, on October the 1st of 2014, reported his mother missing and stated, someone last saw her on the 27th of September.
Prosecutors said the large amounts of blood found in Charles's home belonged to Massey and that he killed her and then dismembered her. They also disagreed that Charles was too disabled to dismember a body.
That flies completely in the face of a man who single-handedly ripped up all the carpeting and pad in his duplex.
During sentencing, Massey's sister took the stand to talk about how her death had impacted their family.
Her favorite thing was always swimming growing up, even as adults. But every time I get pull or go to the river now, that's all I see is wondering if we're ever going to find any more of her.
The jury recommended that Charles serve 36 years in prison for the 2 counts. He'll have to serve at least 20 years before he'll be eligible for parole. In Lexington, Victor Puente, WKYT.
And Charles will be 80 years old when he is eligible for parole.
He disappeared months ago, but tonight police say there's still no sign of a missing Berea man. They say the 25-year-old Jacob Tipton went missing back in April, and police say they later found his truck abandoned more than 100 miles away. New at 6 tonight, Sabira Rayford talks to investigators and Tipton's mother.
Jacob Tipton has been missing close to 4 months. Police say they've had a hard time locating any leads. They said at this point it's like the investigation has hit a brick wall.
At this point, we don't have a whole lot of information, so we're just hoping that maybe somebody will see this, and if they have any information, they'll give us a call.
Lieutenant Jake Reed with the Berea Police Department said their only lead in 4 months was when they found Tipton's car abandoned in Hart County, more than 100 miles away. Tipton's mother, Tanya Grant, lives in Florida. She says since his disappearance, every day has been a struggle.
Heart-wrenching. It's every day. It's living vicariously through my telephone. That every time that I get an area code, that's an 859 area code or a Kentucky area code, your heart stops.
Grant says the family has put up flyers around the state. She says getting information on his disappearance has been an uphill battle.
We need closure. Somebody knows something, because his vehicle, he would have walked away from the vehicle that he bought 2 days before. You don't just walk away from a vehicle.
Grant says at this point they are not going to slow down their search for more information.
My hope now is just to find him. I do not think that we are going to find him in a good place. I know my son, and he knows that I do have some health issues, and that if he could contact me, he would.
Anyone with information on Jacob's disappearance is asked to call the Berea Police Department. In Madison County, Sabir Rayford, WKYT.
Berea police say they did a full forensic workup on the SUV and no evidence of foul play was found.
New tonight, state leaders say some changes will be made to Governor Bevin's proposal to revamp Kentucky's Medicaid program. But the state cabinet for Health and Family Services isn't saying what the changes will be, only that officials are still reviewing public comments about the proposal. The governor wants Medicaid recipients to pay a monthly premium along with co-pays for doctor's visits. His proposal would also eliminate vision and dental coverage, but it could be earned through community service.
The Urban County Council could be making changes to an ordinance that requires Lexington homeowners and businesses to shovel sidewalks after a snowstorm. Right now, the ordinance gives people 4 hours after a snowfall to shovel sidewalks or face a fine. But our news partners at the Herald Leader report a new proposal would give people 24 hours after a snowfall of more than 2 inches to clear the sidewalks. A council committee voted in favor of the ordinance last night. It now goes to the full council.
Well, he normally directs traffic, but this morning a University of Kentucky police officer directed a baby's entrance into the world.
Pretty dramatic. The officer was directing traffic on campus when a car pulled up to him with a woman in labor inside, and the baby just would not wait. Monique Blair has the story.
Earlier this morning as University of Kentucky veteran police captain Kevin Franklin was out here at the intersection of Cooper Drive and University Drive directing traffic for UK Move-In Day. Something happened that he, along with a couple of people who were also involved, will likely never forget.
The driver of that vehicle pulled up to the intersection when they saw Captain Franklin directing traffic and let Captain Franklin know that there was a medical emergency.
There was a medical emergency because the woman in the passenger seat was in the process of giving birth.
There was no question it was being born right now.
The couple was just 2 blocks from UK Hospital, but there just wasn't time. So Captain Franklin, who is also a registered nurse, acted quickly.
He was able to get to the car and look for some medical equipment that he had.
UK Police Chief Joe Monroe tells us within moments, a baby girl was brought into the world without any problems.
Captain Franklin was the sole deliverer of this baby.
By the time the baby girl was born, emergency crews were on scene and took the mother and baby to the hospital.
But Captain Franklin was very emotional because anytime a baby's born, a parent or a grandparent is very emotional.
Now, Chief Monroe tells us Captain Franklin has actually delivered one other baby in his lifetime, and that was about 20 years ago while he was eating at Tally Ho here in Lexington. Reporting in Lexington, Monique Blair, WKYT.
And talk about timing. Chief Monroe says this was a perfect scenario because Captain Franklin typically works in the office.
Right place at the right time,
Yes.
for sure. It has been helping people in Lexington for decades, and now a community center has received a national honor. That's next.
And then we have some new information tonight about a Lincoln County couple's search for the family of a soldier whose Bible they found in a china cabinet. A community center in Lexington's East End neighborhood is now receiving some national recognition.
The Charles Young Center on East 3rd Street has been added to the National Register of Historic Places. It was built in the 1930s and was named after the first African American with military rank. Members of the center's advisory board say the National Registry protects the building for years to come and recognizes what the center does for the community.
I've seen a lot of buildings and a lot of our institutions torn down, our physical institutions. With this historic designation, we know that this is going to be here.
This comes just before the Charles Young Center will host the annual East End reunion. That will be held Friday through Sunday.
We have an update tonight on a Lincoln County family's efforts to return a World War II soldier's Bible to his family. As we first told you here last night at 6, the Young family says they found Milton Cummins' Bible in a china cabinet that they recently inherited. But they're not sure how the Bible got there. The Bible was printed in the 1940s. After our story aired, the Youngs say they received many phone calls from people offering to help, including a woman from North Carolina who specializes in finding people all over the world. We have more information about the search on WKYT.com.
New tonight, we've learned a Lexington restaurant will soon be changing its focus. The Herald Leader reports Sabio in Dudley Square will become a private party business starting September 1st. But the owner told the newspaper the business will leave that location in March when its 5-year lease runs out.
Now, your hour-by-hour forecast with Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey.
Rainy weather across the Bluegrass State today. Rounds of showers and thunderstorms putting it down right at an inch of rain officially in Lexington on the day. We look outside, still some very light stuff showing up on our WKYT live sky cam. Hamburg Pavilion in the distance, 74 degrees. The humidity way up there, so the muggy factor is off the charts right now. That front is weakening, but it's right on top of the area and kind of falling apart. And showers and thunderstorms are going to begin to fall apart over the next couple of hours for many areas, though I'm still watching eastern Kentucky, where a strong thunderstorm is now crossing out of Morgan County into the Magoffin County area. So West Liberty down to White Oak toward the Bloomington area, north side of Magoffin County. Watch out for some local high water issues. Those appear to be moving just quickly enough to preclude any high waters, but you never know in those hilly terrains. You get into parts of Breathitt County, down toward Harlan County, thunder and lightning, bluegrass region, starting now to see an overall decrease in not only the coverage, but the intensity of the rains that are out there. To the southwest, look at all the clouds and look at the light rain from around Owensboro down toward Bowling Green, western parts of Tennessee. We had a front out there over the past several days. Well, that front has now just kind of broken up, but the boundary is still there. The conveyor belt of moisture hasn't moved. Look at all the rain in Texas. Unfortunately, poor folks in Louisiana getting hit again. But that's going to continue to throw juice into central and eastern Kentucky over the next couple of days. So yesterday, I thought Thursday had a little better chance of being a nice day. Northern Kentucky still has a good chance of being a nice day. 64 in south, we're going to have some scattered storms around. Not going to rain all the time, but yeah, we're going to be in the drink for some areas. More storms on the move Friday. Fingers crossed we get that stuff to fall outside of the kickoff of the high school football season. Saturday, watch out for some late-day strong thunderstorms as a strong cold front makes its way toward the area. Watch how quickly the stuff that's out there this evening falls apart. Fog in the morning, and then as we go deeper into the morning and toward the early afternoon, little push of some moisture. Look at this, 64 and south. All the green showing up, keeping those temperatures again into the 70s for some of us. That could be some soaking rains again into parts of southern and southeastern Kentucky. Through tomorrow evening, that'll decrease a little bit. Cue up the next round. As we go into your Friday, and especially into the afternoon and evening, we'll watch for at least some scattered thunderstorms to go up. It is Saturday afternoon and evening when we have to be on guard for a line of potent thunderstorms dropping in from northwest to southeast. This same model we were looking at is adamant on spitting out another inch or two of rain, especially across the southern half of the state. Now, once we get that next front in and out of town, Saturday night and early Sunday, let me get out of the way so you can look at a very nice forecast for the first time really since June. And this is the second half of August. That's been a long time, guys, and early next week looks really good.
I think a lot of folks are having to take a double take at that because they just can't believe it. It's been this way for so long.
Yeah, between now and then, there's still a lot of rain to fall, so we'll watch it.
Chris, thanks.
Well, Brian, the Southwestern Warriors seem to be pretty good this year.
Yeah, some have said this has the potential to be the best team ever down at the reservation in Pulaski County. We've talked about the UK defense improving. Eli Brown is getting after it. Sports is on the way. Linebacker play has been a concern for the UK coaches early in fall camp. One guy they're hoping to get big plays from, redshirt freshman Eli Brown out of Bowling Green. Defensive coordinator DJ Elliott says Brown has good football instincts and has a knack for being around the ball. Elliott says Brown has made his most improvement this fall.
He's an excellent tackler. He makes a lot of plays. His size was the concern last year. He's put on some weight, and he's still growing. You know, he still hasn't played a snap of college football, and there's still a lot to learn, but I've been very impressed with his work over training camp.
17, the magic number today. That was the number, is the number worn by Alex Montgomery and former Wildcats, one of my guys, Jeff Snedeker, Tommy Cook, and Van Hiles. Mo Williams is back on campus. He scored a school record 17 touchdowns in 1995. And who could forget Braxton Kelly's tackle on the 17-yard line against LSU that helped the Cats upset the top-ranked team in the country in 2007. You can see the entire countdown info on WKYT.com. Our 27 teams and 27 days previews continue, and they take us to the reservation in Pulaski County. Southwestern has their sights set on being the best in the county and beyond. Last season, Southwestern had an 8-4 record, but finished just 1-3 in the final month of the season. That's an area of emphasis Larry French continues to preach to his team.
But we're still learning how to compete every day, every play, every snap, and until we get that, then we're not going to be where I want us to be.
The Warriors will run, and probably run the football some more this year. Depth is something of a concern in spots, but not at running back, where Patrick Edwards will get his hands on the ball often.
I'd say that Patrick Edwards probably might see it every snap, you know, some way, somehow. But when you got someone that's gained over 1,200 yards 2 years in a row as a freshman and as a sophomore, you know, and we got a good offensive line in front of him, I think that, you know, that we are a run, you know, first team.
Pulaski County has owned the county and the region for 3 straight years. Many coaches, however, think this could be one of the best, if not the best team Southwestern has ever fielded.
Come this year, I expect we'll come out hard and fast. We'll be trying to prove everyone right that we're the best team in the county and that we work harder, we are better, and we are better.
The Warriors have been to the state semifinals just one time, and this year's seniors want to make history for themselves, their school, and Coach French.
You know, it's been great. The old man's been awesome working us off. He's been an inspiration to my life. 2-time state champions. We hope we can get him a third.
Oh, Mr. Dalton, you have spoken true words, young man. I hope you don't have to do up-downs for the rest of the afternoon. Sam and Amber, back to you.
All right, it's there for everybody to hear. Final check of your first word forecast is next.
And then on the CBS Evening News, another shakeup today for the Donald Trump campaign. A look behind closed doors on the campaign trail. Gosh, there's a little hint of blue sky there.
It's about that much. Did you see it? Did you see it in there? Get a good look at it. It'll go away quickly. Look outside at your Defender Radar Network. Eastern Kentucky, still some strong thunderstorms out there. Watching the Licking River Valley heading into the Big Sandy Valley. Those storms will continue to press off to the east over the next few hours. Locally heavy rain's the main threat.
And the break comes maybe 4 or 5 days?
Yeah, we get through the weekend. We should be in good shape next week.
Thanks for joining us tonight. We'll see you back here at 11.
CBS Evening News is next.